There are a myriad of reasons why women get involved in corrections.
I got involved because of, you come out of college and you need a job and you need some stability and employment.
I decided to take the leap even after people were like, oh, female, you're going into corrections. Are you sure you know what you're getting yourself into?
I got into corrections because I was a single parent with 2 children.
I was fresh out of college and had decided not to go to law school. So I was sort of trying to find my path then, and happened to find a job working at a local juvenile intake and assessment center, which is the very front door into the juvenile justice system.
Humble beginnings for women who are near or at the top of their professions within KDOC. And like most women, it's a profession that was rarely on their radar as a career. For Lieutenant Rachel Trapp, corrections was her best option 20 years ago as she looked for ways to survive as a single mom. And over the years, she says the work helped her grow up.
When I first started, I was a very shy, naive, quiet person. Everybody will tell you that is not me. They don't believe me when I say that. It helped me grow up. It helped me learn myself. It helped me learn that I am more than just that quiet girl in the back, that I can stand up, I can supervise, I can lead. It taught me how to be a leader.
And KDOC has seen and continues to see many leaders emerge, both men and women. It's part of the corrections DNA.
It was a temporary position for me when I first started in corrections, but when corrections get into your blood, and it preys onto your, finds your compassionate side in you, and when you start feeding into that, which is what corrections does, it pulls out that compassion side in you, and you start to feel like you're making a difference, and you can help people, and you can help change lives. And that's why we say, once it gets in your blood, you don't want to leave and stuff, and it got in my blood.
Since 2013, there has been an increase in the number of women in corrections at KDOC, up from 30% to 36% of the total workforce in 2022. Certainly, an increase in female staff is good because of the strengths and skills they provide.
I think that's kind of the strength of women in our industry, is that it definitely is, at least on the surface, more acceptable, if you will, for us to stop and pause for a minute and maybe to be a little more tender. But then that also gives everybody else, I think, in the room or in the circle, if you will, permission to pause and stop and think and make decisions, maybe not through the lens of reactivity, but hopefully with a little bit of empathy without being overly emotional.
There's a niche that can only be carved out by women, and women are needed. Their listening skills, their communication skills, their relationship building skills, their even different approach to problem solving and an approach to a challenge or a crisis. And our field needs that. Our field needs that more than ever.
Milner says women who can effectively communicate can reduce the possibility of use of force incidents. That's what happened when Candace Bird was training to be a CO during a role play. She had to deal with a resident who locked himself in a room.
And one by one, the officers in front of me had failed attempts. They would go up and do that hardcore, come out your room, what's wrong with you, come out your room. And as I seen them afford opportunities for the resident to come out, I started thinking, if I were in that resident's shoes, what would I want someone to ask me? How would I want them to approach me? So as I came up to the door, knocked on it, and the first thing I asked is hey, I worked with you yesterday and everything was okay. So what's different? And the door flew open, and the training officer that time said, why would you ask that? It's because, they're human. I would want someone to ask me the same thing.
Bird says she not only loves making a difference in her job, but also setting an example for others.
Being a minority, being a female, and almost being able to be the face, or more so a role model for others, where they can come in and be confident as a minority or as a woman that, hey, there's someone that looks like me, that can make it. You don't see those in corrections.
And in 32 years of working in corrections, Gloria Geither has seen a lot: the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Research shows that women in corrections reduce violence in facilities. And so, I think that's good. I think we've proven our value, we've proven our worth in this field, and that we have something to contribute. I think the bad is the multiple roles that women play in society, as far as us being mothers and, taking care of our children, trying to balance a career in corrections and stuff. So that's kind of the bad, but the thing is that we've responded to that with helping with childcare and expanded health care. I think the ugly is that gender doesn't really matter, that once you have somebody who has been compromised, a staff person that's been compromised, it sheds a bad light onto all of us, and we all pay the price for that.
And for the future of women in KDOC,
Make sure that you're at the table. Make sure your voice is heard. Seek opportunities to get involved. Seek out women to mentor you. That is probably one of the most influential things for me, was that I had a mentor, really a couple of mentors who I could go to for advice, who I could go to for guidance.
would you encourage other women to look at corrections?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not a bad job. I mean, there are days that, we're the girls, and there's things that we can't do in a male facility that the guys can, but, if you're willing to put in the work, absolutely. It's not a bad job. It really isn't. There's a reason I've been doing it for 20 years. There's a reason why I've stayed.